Okay, good evening. I'm coming at you again. Normally, this is a Tiger Pride sport forum. We normally talk about football, but we decided to go in a different direction. We're still going to talk about football, but we decided to go in a different direction and talk about some real life situation. There's a lot of people out there that got stories that can help other people. So we want to do that. We want to be able to talk to people and then get that out there so that other people who are dealing with similar things can grasp something from it, and hopefully it'll help them deal with things better. Tonight we have a special guest, and we're going to start from Tony. Introduce yourself.
My name is Tony Henry. Ball, Big 8.
My name is Lovely Cockrell. I am the daughter of the late Mary J. Cockrell and Robert Cockrell.
My name is Early Henry Jr.
My name is Lucius Henry.
Okay, so we brought, I talked to Love. I've been really impressed with how she's been functioning and just moving along, doing great things. And I wanted to get her in and talk to her so that she can kind of enlighten some people or help some people. Okay, so Love, tell them a little bit about yourself, your early years and how that went.
Again, my name is Lovely Cockrell. I am the daughter of the late Mary J. Cockrell, and my father was Robert Jefferson. I said Robert Cockrell from Robert Jefferson. I am a graduate of Noxubee County High School, the best class of '05. After high school, I began to work because I always wanted my own money, so I began to work and ran the streets a little bit, not in a bad way, but ran the streets a little bit. And then my sister began to have kids, and the kids kind of slowed me down. I enjoy being around the kids. Family is everything to me, so I got out the street, worked for me and the kids basically, and started a little life. And then I met this girl, started dating her, and she encouraged me, told me that, said, you smart, you need to go to college and get you a degree. I was like, no, a degree can't help me, I'm already making money. So I listened to her, and then I went to East Mississippi, and I graduated last year, December the 13th, where I received a degree in liberal arts. And right now I am currently in school at West Alabama for early childhood education. I wanted to do something to help people. Every job I ever had was correctional or mental health. I love working with people. I love people. I love putting a smile on people's faces. So anything I could do to help somebody, that's what I like to do.
Okay. Yeah, I've been knowing you for quite a while, and I know what kind of person you are, so really impressed with how you handle everything. So tonight we're going to deal with Love. She's had a lot of tragedies in her life, and I look at where she is now. So somehow she got through all these things, and she's a shining star. So Love, would you go into talk about that just a little bit? Tell us about your first loss, and move on.
I will. It's something that I could never ever forget. 1 month after celebrating my brother's birthday, they just left my house January the 20th. I can remember the time. It was 9:45. They left my house, and about 20 minutes later, my nephew, his name is Travion, he called me. He said, I've been in a wreck. I said, you been in a wreck? I said, you just left my house. He said, it's bad. I said, tell me where you at. He began to tell me where they were. I was the first on the scene. I bet the police officer, and I was living in Scuba, Mississippi at the time, and they was right here in Macon. I bet the police from Scuba to Macon. I got there, and I was looking for them, and I didn't see them. And I went over the bridge, and I saw the car. And the only thing I can do at that time is say, Jesus. I never in my life seen something so bad, a car wreck. I fell to the ground. The officer that got there, his name was, they call him D Black. And my brother was still alive when I made it there, and he called me. He said, "Love." I said, "Yes." He said, "Come help me get out this car." He said, "Because the police they taking too long. The fire truck, they had to call a fire truck from Columbus to do the Jaws of Life. I guess they didn't have it in Macon." And I was talking to him. I was like, "Okay, God." I was like, "I can't lose my brother because my brother was my father. My father wasn't in my life. My brother was my father. And he took care of us." And I'm like, "Lord, if I lose my brother, I'm going to lose my mama." Because my mama and him was like two peas in a pod. You wasn't going to see my mama and then see my brother. But anyway, I began to talk to him. I was heading down the hill. He said, my brother, exact words that night, I never forget, he told me, he said, "If somebody can get me out this car, it's you, Love." And that meant everything to me. For my brother to be in a situation and he said those exact words, because it wasn't anything that I wouldn't do. And he knew if I could get him out of that car, I would have gotten him out of that car. Finally, the Jaws of Life came and they cut the top of the car off. They got my nephew. I mean, it was like this close from the lake. I mean, the river. This close. They got my brother out. He was talking and I was like, I said, "You pull through this." I said, "I'm going to get you all ice cream in the world." My brother was a sweethead. He loved ice cream.
Yeah.
I said, "I'm going to get you all the ice cream and chips you want." We got to the hospital and he was talking. The first one, me and my sister was the first one in the room. And my brother, I said, "You okay?" He said, "I'm okay." His last thing that he said, "I'm just so tired." I said, "Well, you'll be okay." And the doctor that told us that we had to leave out. That's when COVID first hit. So they wasn't letting nobody come in, and that was what made it even harder. And I'm like, they were like, "We gotta call the helicopter to come and get him." And I'm like, "Okay." It's like, man, it's bad. You know, and again, I'm just scared. And my mama, she was a real nervous person. And it took so long, the helicopter to land. I'm like, wow. The helicopter to land and still, they ain't brought him out. What's taking so long? I called in there. I heard them call a code. I work with mental health and the prison, so you learn the generation of code for Code Blue is mean, you know, they need some assistance. I'm like, oh God, they calling the Code Blue. Something wrong. They finally got my brother stable enough to get him in the helicopter. That night, the 21st, which was the next morning, a month after his birthday. His birthday was December the 21st. So January the 21st, I could not, in the morning I was up, just couldn't sleep, waiting on the doctor to call. They was like, they gonna call update. Nobody never called from Jackson. I got on the phone and called. And they was like, well, they kept me on hold for a while. And you on hold and, you know, everything just running through my mind like, what's going on? I get there. They told me to get somebody to call me back. The doctor called me back at 9 o'clock that morning. Remind you, I didn't get no sleep, so I'm up just worried all night, like all morning. What's happening to my brother? What's going on? We can't be there. They told us that we couldn't go because of COVID. So the doctor said, y'all need to come in. The family need to come in and say their goodbye. My heart dropped in my stomach.
Wow.
I'm like, what can I tell my mama? I was getting on the calls. She wasn't able to. My sister wasn't able to. Me, I'm the baby of the family. I'm the baby girl out of 5 kids. I was the baby. So I'm handling everything. I'm like, Lord, how do I tell my mama her first child, he's dying. You know, he brain dead. He had internal bleeding. And I called my uncle Rufus Cocker and I was like, we gotta, you know, tell my mama. And my mama, she kind of figured, she was like, it's bad, isn't it? And I told her, I said, yes ma'am. I said, it's bad. And she was like, okay. So we went down there and to see my brother laying there with all those, on that ventilator, you know, you're not used to seeing somebody you love in that situation. I mean, I took it hard. I took it really hard. I ended up going in depression. And when I say the only thing I was able to do, I wasn't able to drive for a whole year after I saw that car wreck. To this day, car wrecks are still triggers to me. A whole year I couldn't drive. The girl that I was dating had to drive me to work everywhere because I feared cars that much.
Yeah.
And that car wreck basically stole my life because I was so afraid. Every time I see a car wreck, I don't care who it was, I would just cry. To get to a scene to see my brother the way that they were, it just traumatized me. So after that, I went to work, y'all, made money. I had everything that a poor person could ask for. A country girl like me, I had everything. I worked 2 jobs, 2 full-time jobs, and was in college. But I was still living with depression, but I still was able to manage. Oh, fast forward, 18 months later, another call. 10 o'clock in the morning, I was headed to work. My sister called me. I've been in a bad car wreck. A truck hit me, and they did not stop. I said, oh my God. I said, God, why are you targeting my family? My sister was my everything. Me and my sister, we went through, when I say literally everything as a child, my mama was a gambler. She wasn't a bad person. She was a gambler. And she lost everything. We went through so many different obstacles together. There was time where me and my sister didn't even have a roof over our head. But we had each other. It was nice. Me and my sister walked the streets. Holding hands. And my sister would say, I want 10 kids. I said, well, I don't want no kids. And she tried to get those 10 kids. She had 5, and thank God she didn't have 10.
Yeah.
And when I got that call from my sister, oh my God, I was mad at God. It's no need for me to lie. I was mad at God. I felt like he was targeting my family. I couldn't get there, but I had a best friend. Her name was Veronica Mosley. I called her. I said, I need you to get to my sister. She said, where they at? I just got to work. She said, but I'm finna leave. She didn't even tell her supervisor she was gone. When I called her, she got there and she stayed with my sister. She called me. She was crying. She said, love, you need to get here. This is bad. Boy, when she told me that, and I'm driving, I went black. I mean, and I be trying to tell people, God is real. Because when she told me that how bad it was, I was driving, going 80 miles, and I seen nothing. I didn't even see the road. How did I get from Philadelphia, Mississippi, and I did not see anything? I couldn't see. To hear somebody say that it was that bad, my nephew was unconscious. His skull was bashed in. Still have pictures of it. Bashed in to this, you know. So I ended up getting to Columbus. They sent my nephew to Columbus. My sister to Columbus, and my nephew to Jackson to intensive trauma. That's the worst trauma you can be in. Intensive, you dead, basically. Got there to my sister. They finally let me come see her. Again, COVID going on. When I got in that room at Baptist Memorial, oh my God. It was something like you see on a scary movie. Literally, no exaggeration. Blood was gushing out of my sister's leg, going straight up. They sticking her, because she kept asking them to let me come in. So they let me come in, and they told me, say, this is bad. I didn't care how bad it was. I was going to stand there with my sister. I didn't care how bad it was. When I got in there, it terrified me. No lie, it terrified me. But I didn't show no faith because I didn't want her to freak out. My sister stayed conscious through everything she went through. She told me she told me what he was doing. My sister was the type of person, she was not going to go past speed limit. One time she took me to Columbus. I said, you need to let me out. I can walk faster than you drive. She told me, she said, well, you can go ahead and get out because I'm not going to speed. I said, okay. Y'all got in there. They was stuffing gauze in her leg. It was bleeding. It was like they just kept ordering blood. They had given her 20 pints of blood in Columbus, Mississippi alone before they took her to Jackson. That's how bad she was bleeding out. Her skin was completely ripped off of her leg. Like, no skin left. Again, this is something you see on Saw. This is how gruesome it was. I didn't show face. I sung her favorite church song to her. I picked the glass out of her hair. I was just rubbing her hand, just talking to her to keep her calm. And the whole time in the inside, I'm just tearing down, just sad in the inside. But I could not show her that. So they told me I had to leave out because they had to do some more work to her to get her able to go to Jackson. Got to Jackson. I'm calling Jackson. They was like, oh, your nephew. He's off. We don't see him coming out of this. What do you? They put me in charge. My sister and his daddy. They was like telling me everything. Remind you, I'm just still grieving my brother lost. Now my sister, who was my everything. Then my nephew. Everybody called him my son since birth because I always had him, and they call him my son. Oh my God! I get in there and I see his head bashed in. The doctor asked me, "What do you want to do?" I said, "Please." I said, "Do any and everything possible it is to save his life." He told me, he said, we're going to take him in surgery. They took him in surgery. Surgery didn't go so well. The first surgery didn't go so well. They put him on a ventilator. He was in a coma for 14 days. 14 days. Again, you couldn't stay because of COVID. That I drove to Jackson every day. And then I had 2 jobs. Both of my jobs fired me. Both of my jobs fired me. They told me I would have to choose between my family or that job. They knew that. They should have knew that answer from the door. I chose my family because I knew that I can get a job anywhere. I drove y'all with no money in my pocket. 3 months to Jackson. I didn't know how I was going to get there. People I didn't even know was blessing me. Like, when they fired me, like, everywhere I go or went, people just was blessing me. I was like, okay, God, I had to leave that job. I wasn't going to leave my sister. I definitely wasn't going to leave my nephew. He had a second surgery. They said, we got to remove his brain. We got to cut his frontal lobe off. I said, you got to do what? They said, we got to remove his frontal lobe. And they said, it's a chance that he will never be the same no more. I said, I don't care what you have to do. I said, just do it. My sister, she's still going through what she's going through, but she's conscious. My sister had 68 surgeries.
Wow.
That I counted. 68 surgeries they did to her. Her arm was broke. Her collarbone was broke. Her pelvic bone was broke. Her hip bone was broke. She was just completely, they told her if she get through this, she would never walk again. They gave her so many skin graft surgeries, so many everything, until they gave her so much blood till she became a diabetic. She never was a diabetic. She became a diabetic after those surgeries. She drifted off into a coma. Stayed in a coma for 3 days. She ended up coming back around. Listen, I'm going from the 5th floor, UMC, to the 3rd floor. My mom, she wouldn't let everybody know she was on the walk. So it's just me. I have another brother, but he's mentally ill. He's in a mental facility. Again, it's nobody but me. I had this whole load and still do by myself. So I had to do some research because Jackson just wasn't doing enough for me. So me being a little educated, I did my own research, and plus the girl that I was talking to at the time, her mother is a nurse practitioner. And we all was doing research, and they was like, after they removed his frontal lobe and his skull, they had put a bolt in his head to monitor his brain activity, to see how much brain activity he had. And they couldn't get him to respond to anything, so I did some research and said that maybe it was too far in his head. So I called down to the doctor. This is somebody that had been in medical school. I ain't never been in medical school.
Yeah.
I called and I told them I want to talk to them. Like, well, listen, I need to speak to him. They kept telling me he was busy. I said, okay, don't worry about it. I got in my car and I drove to Jackson, Mississippi. With my computer in my hand. And I told him, I said, well, maybe that bolt is too far down into his brain. And it's not giving enough signal. He said, okay. He said, what you want me to do? I said, I want you to pull it up some. I promise you. He said, well, we're going to take him in. He said, it's going to be about a 2-hour surgery. I said, that's fine. Y'all, he went and he took it up some. After the surgery, he said, his brain activity came back. I said, oh my God. This is a true story. I said, oh my God. Somebody with no medical experience. I did research that whole day. My nephew started gaining activity in his brain when they removed that bolt because they had it too far down.
Yeah.
And the next day, he was in the coma for 14 days. The next day after that surgery, they had him on the heavy anesthesia. He opened his eyes out of 14 days in a coma. Boy, you talking about joy. I haven't talked to him in 14 days. I ain't had nobody ask me for cash apps every day.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a blessing from God that God gave me the knowledge to go and do my own research to tell somebody that went to school what to do, and he did it.
Yeah.
Then after that, guess what happened? His lungs started to mess with him. He had been in a coma so long. I'm like, oh God. I was in Birmingham with the baby boy. I took him out. And he told me, my nephew, his name is Jaden. Jaden Stewart, he told me, he said, at the time he was a little young boy. He was in the 6th grade with his mom.
Yeah.
He was so smart. He told me, he said, you ever miss somebody? I said, of course. And he said, I miss my mama. He said, I hadn't seen my mama. He said, I don't know why they won't let us come in. And I explained, well, it's COVID and then you underage. It hurted me so bad. He had tears in the eyes and I couldn't let him see me cry.
Yeah.
So I was crying, but at the same time, I was comforting him. He said, I'm just praying that my mama pulled through and come home. And I was like, I'm praying that she pulled through too. Wow. Fast forward. August come. Some reason she just started declining. Her body became septic. Oh my God. I get the call from her doctor. They said, y'all need to come in. August the 10th, I had just left because Trey, he had a appointment to his neurologist. Y'all, when he came home, y'all, I was, every 2 hours, I wouldn't get no sleep. Every 2 hours, I had to get up, give him medication. You had to give it on the hour. Had to bathe him, change him, brush his teeth, feed him, clean his tube, take the trach out his throat, clean the trach. It was so much I had to do then. I'm still going back and forth to Jackson. August the 10th, 2022, I go to Jackson. And he haven't seen his mom 3 months after the wreck. I text him, I snuck him in there. I went all the way around from the children's hospital. I said, I'm gonna get you in there. I said, if the police stop us, it is what it is. I'm gonna let you see your mom because he was in the wreck with his mom. So I took him to see his mom. He was so happy. He couldn't talk because his mouth was wide shut. Top to bottom was wide. I pushed that door. He saw his mama. He smiled. You couldn't see nothing but them little braces in his mouth. And it hurt me so bad. My sister had went through so much. She didn't even know who I was.
Wow.
I stood beside her. I said, "Hey, for your son." And she told me, "You don't take life serious." Anybody know me? I'm really goofy. My personality is just me.
Yeah. But
I'm a good person with a good heart. She said, "You don't take life serious." So I laughed at her and she looked at me. She said, "Who are you?" I said, "Girl, don't play with me." I said, "Cherie." And she just looked at me like she really didn't know who I was. I began to cry. The person I grew up from a child until now, she didn't even know who I was. That's how bad she had got off with all them surgeries. Then a few minutes, she looked around. She said, "Love." I jumped up. She said, this is my sister's last word to me. She said, "Take care of my kids." I didn't know she was going to die. I said, "Girl, don't play with me." I said, "I always took care of them kids." I said, "You ain't got to never worry about that." I said, "I'm going to take care of them kids, ain't you?" Her last thing she told me was, "Take care of my kids." And when I say I do that, and I do it with honor, because I promised my sister that's what I was going to do. It's nothing and nobody that could stop me from taking care of them kids, because that was my promise. My mama always told us, she said, "Your word is your bond." She said, "Your word is everything." And if I tell somebody something, that's what I try to do. August 11th, the doctor called me. He said, get your family together. Y'all need to come say y'all family goodbye. I was so mad at God. Right at my house, I punched the concrete wall. I didn't even feel it. My mama said, stop hitting the wall, you're going to break your hand. I hit that wall so hard, I knocked the skin off of it. You still can see the little stars right here. I knocked the skin. I was so mad at God. You took my sister. I don't have but one sister on my mama's side. I have siblings on my daddy's side, but we're not close. My sister, everything was close to my sister than I was with my mama. We got there. My mama, she took it pretty well. She took that well. But she was still grieving. And I knew she was because she began to eat more. I was like, no, mama, you can't do this, you can't do that. Y'all, I got there to my sister. They let the kids go in. I was so angry at them doctors. Y'all would let the kids see their mama in this condition. We pulling her off a ventilator, but y'all wouldn't let them see it while she was living. That hurted me so bad. That the only memory out of 3 months that they have is their mama dead. I mean, they could have had some kind of compassion to let the kids see her alive. So, I got there. And my niece sung the sister's favorite song, No Weapon Formed Against You Shall Prosper, by Fred Hamilton. And my niece said, her name is Kia Maya, she said, Love, my mama squeezed my hand, she not dead. I said, she ain't squeezed your hand. She said, she squeezed my hand. I said, no, she didn't, baby. I said, that's what you want. So I moved her, and I grabbed my sister's hand. And these are my words that I told her. I said, I know you want to stay here with us. I said, you've been through so much. I said, you fought for 3 long months. I said, it's okay to go if you want to go. I said, if you have to go, you just have to go. And my sister, when I told her that, I said, just remember, I said, I'm always going to take care of your kids. She swears my hand, though I know she did. And it scared me so bad. And after I told her that you can go on, that we'll be fine because you went through so much, Jackson treated her so bad because she was overweighted. They treated her so bad down there at the hospital. And she told me, she said, Love, I know what type of person you are when you're upset. She said, don't come down here. She said, because I need you. And she told me, she said, Mama needs you. I didn't know she was telling me all the time. Both of them, my brother and my sister, would let me know they was finna leave me. Because they was trying to make sure my head and everything was right. She passed. And before she passed, after I told her it's okay if you have to leave us, she squeezed my hand. She smiled. She had the prettiest smile you ever want to see. She had that gold in her mouth. And she smiled. The last thing she did, she smiled for us. And she passed. 2 minutes after they took her off of the ventilator. And I had the pleasure of closing her eyes. Okay. And I had the pleasure of closing my sister's eyes. And I stood there for a minute and I cried because I have just lost my best friend. My personal ATM machine when I would go and gamble. That was my personal ATM machine. I called her, listen, sis, I need $100. She was like my mama. She said, listen, love, you need to leave that casino alone. You making them rich and you getting poor. But she knew I was going to listen. I was working. I was going to give it back to her. So, y'all, I buried my sister. Lord, after I buried my sister, I lost sight of everything. Only thing I could do, I got up every day, got the kids ready for school, I cooked them a meal every day. I couldn't eat. The only thing kept me alive was my mama prayer, Gatorade, and oranges. That's all I could eat. I couldn't eat no solid food. I couldn't stand and even smell food, but I had to take care of the kids. I stayed in my room after my sister died. Like I said, I lost both of my jobs. Y'all, I had every credit card there was to have. I had a truck. I had 2 other cars. I lost everything because my job let me go. I lost everything, and I'm not ashamed of it. I lost completely everything. I didn't care. As long as them kids had everything they need, I was fine with being broke. Long as I maxed out every credit card Capital One, Discover, Credit One, every bank card that I had to make sure them kids went to school, they hair, clean clothes, nice shoes. Every single day I did that. Stayed in my room, y'all, after that for 4 months. I went to Walmart. I purchased me some blackout curtains. I didn't want no sunlight. I didn't have no TV on. I lived in that room for 4 months. Pitch black dark. Crying. I'm talking I was crying so bad, my blood pressure was always through the roof. I began to drink. Never been a drinker. Never did no drugs though, but I began to drink. And Ladybug, she's Kilmai, she's such a sweet girl. That's the oldest girl. She came in and she told me, love. I said, yes, baby. She said, you all we got. Oh, man. When she told me that, something just went through me. And she said, you all we got. She said, we can't lose you too. And that moment, it changed something in me. I was like, okay, I got to get myself together. I'm like, God, even though I was mad at God, I said, God, you got to help me through this because I cannot do this. So my mother, she came back there. And my mama told me, she said, Love Lily, she said, I know you hurt, but you can't grieve as if there's no hope. And so that was my mama, that was her kids. And she was sad, but she still trusted God. I was mad at God. I didn't want to trust God because 18 months later, you're going to continue to just keep taking people from me. So I continued, I prayed and I prayed, and God gave me strength to get up and move and do for the kids. So after that, me and my mama, we became really close. I went through a lot. People was lying on me. They were saying that I wasn't taking care of the kids. I wanted money from the kids. What money? My sister did not work. It wasn't no money to get. Everything those kids had came from me. I got up every day depressed, panic attack, anxiety attack. I still got up every day, went and found another job, and I worked in mental health, and I was dealing with mental health myself, but I used what I went through to help other people. Every job I had, they would tell me, it's something about you that said, how did you go through all this and you still able to help other people? And I would tell them, my mama made me this way. She made me to be strong. I had no other choice but to be strong because I didn't have nobody but my mama. And my brother, which is mentally disabled, and he was in the hospital, so I used everything that I went through and I poured it into other people. I would tell them that I don't care if you mentally disabled or whatever the case may be. I see you as a person. I'm here to help you. I'm not here to judge you. My job is to help. My mama always told me that you never look down on a person unless you helping them up, and I live by that. I never look down on nobody. I don't care who they are. If you homeless or whatever, I sit there and talk to you just like you anybody else. I don't care. I don't see preference. I don't see color. I see an individual. I don't see none of that. Like most people, they don't deal with certain races or they don't talk to certain people. That's not me. I wasn't raised that way. So everything that I was taught, I just poured into other people. And after that, me and my mom, we became close. I did everything for my mom. I became her personal chef. I took her to her doctor's appointment. I washed my mama clothes. I fold my mama clothes. If my mama was to the point where she couldn't even, sometimes she was in a wreck and she couldn't move her arm. She said, well, can you come give me a bath? It wasn't nothing that she wanted that I wouldn't do. I did everything for her. And after that, my mom, she wasn't even sick or anything besides that wreck. And to get that call, we celebrated her birthday. She loves seafood. I gave her the biggest birthday party that I could give her, me and the kids. Did seafood. That Friday before she passed, that Sunday, she passed a month after her birthday. I gave her, we went out to eat. So she loved that hibachi. I dislike that food. And she took her best friend out to eat. And she said, we got to the restaurant, she told me, she said, I know you ain't gonna eat that much, you should have went somewhere. I said, no, for some reason that day, I normally would go somewhere else and eat and let her and her friend. Some reason that day I sat and stayed and ate with my mama that Friday. That Friday, I only ate potatoes and shrimp. That's all I eat from hibachi. I do not eat nothing else out of that. My mama cut up on me so bad. She said, I spent all this money on you and you come in here and you don't eat but one plate. I said, well, mama, it is all you can eat. I said, but that don't mean you have to eat everything you see. She said, well, I'm going to get my money worth. I said, well, you sit and you enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
She ate her food. Y'all, we was coming from Columbus, taking her friend back home. Her friend lived in Prayer Point. Never in my life ever got lost coming out of Columbus on going through the warehouse way. I got lost that day. Been going there all the time. That day I got lost. Ended up we spending time together, me and my mama laughing and we talking and we playing. Took her, dropped her friend off. Then Saturday I barbecued. She loved me to barbecue leg quarters. I barbecued her some leg quarters and she liked a smoke style. It had to be burnt. She said, I want it big and I want it burnt. And I did that and I gave it to her and she went out to cook. She went to Tupelo with my cousin for her birthday. And she stopped back by and she said, well, I'm going to go on home and get ready for church. I said, okay. I said, well, she said, what you cooking tomorrow? I said, with Mary? I said, chick, I don't know what I'm cooking. I said, I might not cook nothing. She said, well, if you cook, think about your mom. Oh, mama. I said, you already know. That Sunday, she left church. She got up and stood up in church and she said what she had to say and she said, I might not get a chance to see y'all no more in church. And I oftentimes go back on Facebook and look at that video because that Sunday they recorded it. And she stood up in church and told them that I might not get another chance to tell y'all what I need to tell y'all. That Sunday, she came to my house after she left church. Normally, I would get up and go out there. That Sunday I did because I couldn't shake that headache. Which was the 13th. It was July the 13th. I got up at 10 o'clock that night. I called my mama. She didn't answer. If I called my mama, she gonna answer that phone, sleep or not. I said, this ain't like Mary. No text messages, no call, no Facebook calls. So I called the kids. I said, what your grandma doing? They said, she sleep. I said, she been sleep all day. I said, that ain't your grandmama. They said, yeah, she got up and she ate and she laid back down. So I told my girlfriend, I said, something just don't feel right to me. I said, something might be wrong with my mama. So I text my mama again from Facebook. I said, hey, Chick, because that's what I call her, Chick. I said, Chick, is you still asleep? No message. That night, y'all, I could not go to sleep at all. It was a little after 12. Stayed up to about 3:30 that morning. Finally dripped out to sleep. God showed me that my mama had passed in my sleep. I was sleeping, I was dreaming, and my mama died in my dream. 9:30, Monday morning, my niece called me screaming in the phone. She said, Grandma dead. I didn't even know how to feel. My feeling was as if you've been cut and you keep cutting that same spot, you gonna feel it. But after so long, you keep cutting that same spot, that feeling, that spot lose feeling. It's completely numb. I was just completely numb. I lost my father in 24. We wasn't close, but I still loved him. He was my father, and I oftentimes checked on him. I talked to him the day before. He died the next day. I was going to go and see him. I said, well, when I get off work, I was off the next day. I'm going to come see him. I didn't get a chance to make it to see him. He died the next day. Then come 25, I lost my mama a month after celebrating her birthday. I'm talking about we had a good time. My mama died. Everybody said, oh, wow, we feel sorry for you. I don't want nobody to feel sorry for me. My mama was a God-fearing woman. My mama instilled in me about Christ. After losing my mama, after losing my brother and my sister, I went to therapy. I did what I needed to do to be better for the kids. If you ain't no good, you can't be no good for nobody else. So I did all that. I went to therapy because I had to be strong for the kids. After losing so many times, you think that you can't win. That's not true. I am a living witness. I was broke. And guess what? Out of all this losing everything, y'all, again, I started building myself. My mama, I could still hear my mama prayers and all the things my mama told me. She said, look, she said, you don't even know who you are. She said, I named you Love Lily for a reason. She said, at birth, you was different from any other child that I ever had. She said, and you will be great. She said, you might stop for a minute. She said, but greatness is in you. She said, greatness was in you when I had you. Those were my mama words to me. So, I made this character. My name is Love. I married this character, TT Big Love. Showing the image of my mother. I don't have no butt, but my mama had plenty of it. She had a big butt. So, I do this image of my mama and she wore her dresses with tennis shoes. So I got this character, TT Big Love, on Facebook and TikTok.
Yeah.
This person I portray is my mama. And I say this, and nobody know that. This is my first time telling anybody because everybody try to figure out. So I portray my mama. And I always say I got to feed them hungry ass kids and this hungry ass woman. This is what I do every day. Every day. The kid that they get from school, I always say, how was your day? How you doing? People oftentimes don't even ask their kids how they doing.
Yeah.
Kids need people to check on them as well. Kids go through things. If you got a child, check on your child, ask them how they doing. Kids have to deal with a lot of peer pressure. Ask them how they doing. And every day, and I got one that go to work. I ask her every day, how was work? I listen to them. People listen, but do you listen to respond or do you listen to understand? I listen to understand first. Understanding is everything. And without understanding, you ain't gonna understand that.
Yeah.
So every day they can tell you, I want to know how you doing. How you feeling? Why are you feeling this way? I don't never want them to feel as if they are alone. They got TT Big Love all the time. I'm up, y'all, around the clock. I got one, he have seizures really, really bad. I'm up walking all night. I sleep when he up during the daytime. I'll be up at night and I watch over him at night because he has a seizure. And I don't want him to have a seizure and I can't get to him in time. You have a certain amount of time, 10 minutes. Know somebody that have seizures, 10 minutes time, get to them and you roll them over. You don't want them to like chew their tongue or anything like that. So I'm up all night. My plate is always full. Then I go and I visit my brother. He's in a group home. I go and I take him stuff. And then on top of that, I cook. I'm trying to start a little business. I'm trying to start something that if something happened to me that the kid will be secure. I told them I'm going to get us out of them apartments. God going to bless us with a house. He's going to bless us with us a trailer. And then to top it off, after losing my mama, my brother, my sister, my dad, my motor went in my car. We had 2 cars down to 1. So imagine taking one to work, taking them to school, taking one to his doctor's appointment, handling business, going to see my brother all with 1 car.
Wow.
How do it work? I don't know. God do it. People ask me, how can you continue to wear a smile? My mama prayed. Her prayers are still carrying me through. I mean, it can't be nobody but God. How am I able to do all this? I don't have a job. I don't work. We don't listen. Ain't talking about y'all stay on. Man, them people don't want to give you nothing. Not anything.
Yeah.
God take care of me. Y'all, I goes into stores, people that I never seen. Hey, TT, you TT Big Love? I said, I am. They was like, oh, you the same way on Facebook and you the same way in person. They said, you got a friendly vibe. And I met a lady, I don't even know her. She said, here, I just want to bless you with something. She said, I don't even know you from Adam to Eve. She said, it's something about you. And she said, God told me to give you this. I said, well, thank you. And I was standing in line at Walmart. People are always blessing us, y'all. I wasn't even on TikTok.
Yeah.
My best friend, I met this guy when I was working at the prison. He was getting ready to kill himself. He told me, I was at work, and he said, I'm thinking about committing suicide. I said, suicide? I said, no. I said, I'm going to do everything I can to talk you out of it. I said, first tell me why you feel the way you felt. He said, well, I like means, but I don't want to tell my mom. And I talked to him, y'all, and in the story, he didn't commit suicide. I ended up talking to him. Thank God that I met him, that he didn't commit suicide.
Yeah.
So he reached out to me. He said, you need to go on TikTok and tell your story. I was like, no, I'm on Facebook. I don't do TikTok. I'm so glad I did.
Yeah.
I got on TikTok and started telling my story to people. So many people. I had only 500 followers. I've been on TikTok 1 month. I got 11,000 followers in 1 month's time.
Wow.
People have been blessing me and those kids. And like I tell anybody, if you don't believe God is real, that's your preference. I know He's real. I see what He's doing in my life and the kids' life. I've changed tremendously. The person that I used to be, oh my God, I've changed big time. And when you love people, that's what you do. You change for people you love. Mm-hmm. You can't be here, and try to raise kids. You got to remember that your kids are a reflection of you. What they see you do, that's what they do. Mm-hmm. So me, I try to always be positive. Do I fuss? Oh Lord, I fuss at them because I want them to be great. Yeah. I told them, if I went back and graduated from college 19 years, I've been out of school 20 years this year, 19 years ago, I went back last year would make 19 years. I got my degree. 19 years later, I got a degree. Mm-hmm. If I can do it, you can do it. You got to have education. You can't get nothing out here. Not no good paying job, especially in Mississippi. Mm-hmm. You need a degree. After that, I was going to stop and just work. And then I made up my mind. I said, you know what? I ain't working for nobody else no more. Because jobs don't appreciate good workers. A lot of jobs don't appreciate good workers. My last job was at a mental facility. They treat you so bad. You have PTO. Oh, we short of staff. That's not my business. You short of staff. Mm-hmm. I got PTO. I work for this. Give me what's due to me. So I made up my mind. I'm not working for nobody else no more. I'm gonna be my own boss, mm-hmm. and I'm gonna show the kids how to boss up. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna start a business mm-hmm. for me and those kids. If something happened to me, I'll give them the sauce to put in their food when I cook. When you cook, if you cook with love, that's how I cook. I cook with love for them home-raised kids and their home-raised woman. Every time I get in that kitchen, I'm never going to do anything without doing it with love. My mama said, whatever you do it with love and let it be real. And that's something that I do. Mm-hmm. Every day I get up, I read the Bible, I tell God, I said, listen, give me strength. I need strength to make it from day to day. I need strength so that I can put it in the kids, show them that it's okay. I cry. I miss my mama. I miss my sister. The holidays coming up. Imagine not having nobody. Yeah. My brother in a mental institution, I go see him, and having nobody but the kids. Imagine that. Everybody sitting around laughing with their family, their sister and brother. I don't have nobody. Mm-hmm. Kids. It's only so much that I'm going to say and do around kids. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you need a adult person to understand what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? So imagine not having nobody to call. Yeah. Nobody to talk to at no time of the day.
Yeah, I
But I always keep God first. Every morning I ask God to give me strength. And that's what you have to do. If you don't do it your way, you gonna drown your way. You won't be able to do it your way. Your way is gonna be real hard. But see, God can give you strength, and I love to read Psalms 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. I have no want for nothing. Do I need another car for my family? Absolutely, I do. But I don't want for nothing.
Yeah.
I don't want. Every time I get low on food or anything, God provides. My cup runneth over. I love Psalms the 23rd. Maybe that's why I love it so much. And then my favorite part is it say, I walked through the valley of the shadow of death. My life felt like the shadow of death. I still felt no evil because God was with me. So when you get God and you take God with you, everything that you do, you will prosper. And y'all, I started cooking. I said, ain't nobody gonna buy nothing. You know, I'm not really popular because I stay out the way. And I teach the kids to stay out the way. You don't have to have friends. I have people's friends or something like that, but I just don't just hang out. Don't nobody need to see you all the time.
Yeah.
Don't nobody need to see you all the time. So I'm a real low-key person. But I advertise, I say, I'll be selling this. Y'all, this the honest truth. I had $35 to my name. This all I had, not ashamed of it. I had $35 to my name. I went to Tim Food Market. He had some wings on sale. They was $30 a box. Again, I had $35. I took those wings home. I cut them wings up. I seasoned them wings. I said, I'm going to sell. I said, Christmas coming up. I said, and the kids, they never ask me for nothing. I make sure they have everything they need, but they are some humble kids. They don't ask for much at all. And together, I'm telling you, y'all, we make it work together.
Oh yeah, they are great.
They are very humble, and I mean, they are some of the most respectful kids that you can ever meet on this side. And I took that $35, y'all, and I ain't even had enough money to get them nails. I had bags of fries because I love potatoes. I had fries already at home. I posted, I said, TT Big Love. I said, I need somebody to make me a logo. This stuff was just coming to my mind. Like, I wasn't thinking about none of this. Just coming to my mind. Got on there. This girl inboxed me. She said, I'm going to bless you with these logos for free. She said, I got some stuff. I was like, you going to bless me with what? Because people not normally kind to you, you know?
Yeah.
And she blessed me. She doing logos and stuff for me. And she said, I got a lot of stuff I'm going to do for you.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, thank you. And she sent it over to me right then and there. She was like, if you need menu, I'll make this for you, this and that. I'm like, oh, God. Okay, I said, okay, I see this. Y'all, I said, I'm going to be cooking. Thursday, people were calling. Monday, people started calling my phone. I never cook for nobody but my family.
Yeah.
They don't know if my cooking good or not. They just say it look good on Facebook.
Yeah.
Man, oh my God. My first day that Friday, which was Friday before last, selling. Y'all, when I say I took $35 and turned it into $300.
Wow.
I took $35 and turned it into $300. Nobody never tried my cooking.
Yeah.
But they see that I'm a clean person. They're like, oh, you gotta be able to cook. I said, you catch a woman with arms like this, that woman can cook. And guess what, man, my phone never stopped ringing. I sold out everything. I cooked from 10:30 that morning to 3:30 that morning, the next morning.
Wow.
I cooked last Friday. I sold out again. I'm like, okay, I see you working, God. So, people love food. People love good character. People love people with respect. And that's how I carry myself. I carry myself with respect. I treat people nice. And everything you need is going to come to you.
Yeah.
I love Ecclesiastes chapter 3. And I tell the kids this. There's a time for everything upon the sun. There's a time to be happy. There's a time to cry. There's a time to laugh. There's a time to die. There's a time to dance. It's a time for everything upon the sun. It's my time now. I stayed down.
Yeah, TT always watch that meat now. TT.
TT don't watch that meat. TT stayed down, and this is my saying that I made. The only way left is up. I've been down long enough. It's time for us to come up. My mama told me before she died I was gonna be great.
Yeah.
I'm walking in my purpose.
Yeah.
But see, sometimes you have to go through something to get to where you're going. Look at everything I've been through. I still wear a smile every day. I get on Facebook every day. I go live and I encourage somebody. You can't keep what you got inside.
Yeah.
It's somebody else out there need to feel the way I feel. If you lost your mama, your father, your sisters, there is hope. There is hope. Do not grieve as if it isn't any hope. That means if you grieve that much, then you put your mother, your father, your sister before God. Nobody come before God. And my mama taught me that. It's okay to grieve. We love them. The people that we grew up with, they carried us. Family is everything. Your family carries you.
Exactly.
How do you feel to lose everything? Think about Job. I think about Job. I said, oh my God. Job lost everything, but he still would not curse God. His wife said, you ought to curse your God and die. So you talk like a foolish woman. You must. I don't care who you are, what you do, and how you do it. You got to keep God first. God is everything. And he will carry you when you can't carry yourself. Y'all think it's easy for me to get up every day out that bed, not knowing I don't have my mama, my sister, brother, daddy, nobody to talk to? God carried me because I asked him before I put my feet down on that floor in the morning. God, give me strength. You gotta help me make it. I can't do this by myself. I don't know what, 6 kids. I ain't want no kids. I was the rich TT. Come pick you up and take you back home. I ain't want any kids.
Yeah.
But without them kids, oh my God, my life, what would my life be? They keep me going. I see my sister in them kids. I mean, they just like their mama. And I'm so thankful to God that she left them kids. And I am so glad that I am able to take care of them. It ain't easy, but I get the job done.
So the logos, I saw the one. Are you gonna create? You gonna use their same page on Facebook, or are you gonna incorporate the logo in there?
I'm going to incorporate the logo, but before I do anything, I always pray. I don't want to move on my timing. I tried it in my time. It didn't work out.
Yeah.
So when I pray about it, and whatever God put in front of me, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just trying to build something for me and my family. And I want them to always know that the TT love them, and it ain't nothing in the world that I would not do for them. That's why I get up every day and I'm showing them that I'm trying to build. See, some people, they build for themselves and they forget about their family. I can't do that. My mama raised us to always be close, me and my siblings. So I don't have them, so that love I had for them, I put it all in the kids. Everybody say, oh, you got them kids spoiled. Absolutely. I do have them spoiled. They don't ask for much.
Yeah.
They don't ask for much. And I got one that work. If I get down and I don't have no money, she give me money. I'm like, I'm good. She's like, no, here go you 10, 20. It's just the thought that count that she think enough of me to give me something when she know I don't have it. So I'm telling you, y'all, together we make it work. I'm talking about living in their house is like living with the Allen family. I'm talking about we have a good time. We have our days where we sad.
Yeah.
But we don't stop. We keep going. We push each other. I motivate them.
Yeah.
And that's something that you have to do to your kids, especially nowadays. We see all this stuff going on in the world.
Okay, Lucius, you got a question for love.
Yeah.
69, me and Mary started high school together. So after she got grown, had kids, how was it growing up with Mary? Because I know she was always funny in school, always joking. She the same way, raised the kids too.
Yes, my mother. I am just like my mom. Everybody tell me my mom had a distinct personality. She was funny, but I'm gonna tell you, she wasn't in to play with. She treated us real well, and we didn't have a whole lot, but again, we had each other. She was a great woman. She always instilled the Christ in us. And she would always tell us, if you ever get into a situation and you ain't got nobody, she would tell us, I know somebody that would never leave you or forsake you. So she always taught us to believe in God, and she always had a funny way by doing it. And just like for her birthday, I played a song, Never Would Have Made It. It went viral. She got up and she was working and she was dancing and she looked back and she told me, she said, see, you ain't got all that to do that with. So she was a funny lady, and she was sweet, and she was loving, she was kind. She never met a stranger.
I know at the football game, she doing her walking, and when she would go to the football game, you can see her stand up dancing with the music.
Oh yes, she wasn't gonna miss a game. I didn't. No matter how she felt. When I say she loved Nasharie County Tigers, when I say she loved those boys, she loved those kids. And she was going to go there, she was going to cheer them on, the whole stadium be quiet. Not Mary. Mary going to get up, she said, if you're dead, she said, you need to go to the graveyard. She said, if you're living, you need to make some noise. And she was going to get up and hit that walker down, and she had everybody in the crowd just laughing. I mean, she was funny. You think, everybody say I'm funny. But my mama, she was one funny lady, and the way she was in that school, that's the way she was with us. But we knew when she was playing, and we knew when she wasn't playing. So yeah, she was definitely a character.
Yeah,
Yes.
I had a chance, but a picture that I took of you and your mother at the state championship game, and it wasn't this last one. I think it was in
Yes.
Ole Miss, at Ole Miss.
I remember.
Yeah, I'm still gonna find that picture because it was a good picture. You know, I can tell y'all was having a good time.
We were. And she was gonna look. And that basketball season. Oh man, she was just talking about this upcoming season, what she wanted to do for the football boys and the basketball. I remember taking her to the game. She said, you don't take me to the game? I'm like, I really don't feel like it. She said, well, I want to go to the game. So, of course, I'm not going to tell my mama no.
Yeah.
I got her, put me some clothes on, took her to the game. Oh, God. She got in there, in the basketball, in the gym. Cheat. 3-3. I'm like, mama, please. She just was banging that thing, and the people in the crowd were just loving it. So, that was just my mama. And so I guess I'm somewhat like her.
Yeah. Well, I've been so impressed with how you have handled this, and then how the kids, how they're coming along. You know, they're great. I talk to them around the school a lot, taking pictures, and I see them a lot, and they're just really great young people. You know, so, and I know that a lot of work went into that.
Yes, absolutely.
And I just been impressed with how you've handled the grief that you've been through, and then still able to do what you're doing now. And as far as the business end, you know, a lot of times business come by accident. You're not planning on it,
Right.
but then you did this, and then you see how that went.
Yes.
So you're being drawn into that business,
Yes.
and that's great. You know,
So God be the glory.
oh yeah, that's great. But I'm gonna let you have your final thoughts, and I do appreciate you coming to tell your story with us.
Absolutely. Anytime, Mr. Henry.
Okay.
Again, my name is Love Lily Cockrell, and the only way left is up. You've been down long enough. Believe in yourself. It only takes one person to believe in you. If I did it, a country girl, I did it broke. I did it with a broken heart. I did it with depression, anxiety, panic attack. I do this. This is my life. I accept my faith. You should too. You can do it. You just gotta believe. You have to believe. You can't do it alone.
Yeah.
And I always, whenever I'm live, I always like to tell people this. I guess because I worked in mental health for so long. If there's anybody out there dealing with any kind of suicidal thought, homicidal thoughts, any bodily harms to yourself or others at any cost, the national helpline worldwide is 988. It will direct you to whatever state you're calling from, to a crisis center. There is help out there, people. There is help. You can't do it alone. Drugs won't help you. Alcohol won't help you. Smoking anything won't help you. I smoked for years. Guess what? My mama told me she wanted me to stop smoking. I haven't smoked in 2 months now. I stopped smoking. I'm doing this. I'm proud of myself. Because if y'all ever see me shoot a year or so back, boy, I was something serious. I've changed. If I can do it, anybody can do it. But you gotta first want to be a change. You gotta, if you want to see a change, you gotta be the change.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a part of no problem. I want to be a part of the solution. There is help. There's help. There's people out there willing to help you no matter what you're going through. Again, that number is 988. Call it anytime. There is people out there that's equipped to help you in any situation that you're in. But also, your biggest help comes from God. I love you all and thank y'all for listening to my story.
Okay, y'all, let's give a love of hand. That's great.
Thank you.
Good job.
Yes, sir. No problem. I enjoyed sitting here and getting that.